Hi there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. And continuing with that weird train I was talking about in my last video, if you're one of my regular viewers, we are going to do Black Sabbath Masters of Reality next. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so if you watch my review of Paranoid, you already know that I consider Paranoid a perfect 10 album, but it's not my favorite album. This is my favorite album from Black Sabbath. That's right. I don't consider this a perfect 10 album, but I will explain why as I go. I also want to point out that this one I bought the extras, and it's actually one of the reasons I didn't buy the extras for the Paranoid album. I mentioned in the Paranoid album I didn't buy the package with the extra album on it with all the bonus outtakes. This one had some outtakes that was actually worth it. I'm going to actually do the outtakes first, okay? So, and the reason why I'm going to do the outtakes first is the only thing in the outtakes worth mentioning, truly worth mentioning, is the opening track, Weevil Woman 71. Now, this is kind of like this cool little raw demo, sort of, previously unreleased. It feels kind of like it was supposed to be what turned into Evil Woman later on. And Evil Woman is one of those songs that fluctuates on and off of Black Sabbath albums depending on which side of the Atlantic Ocean you're in. And I believe I've covered it in a previous review related to the original Black Sabbath album. All right. I'm not a fan of the song Evil Woman itself, and Weevil Woman is kind of interesting. I think it had some potential, and then they dropped it, but I'm glad they did. After that, it goes into just basically studio outtakes, instrumental versions, or slight alternate versions of other tracks as we go through. Let's get into this. I'm going to do this the proper way. So, track one, the kickoff of the original album is Sweet Leaf. Now, Sweet Leaf, according to everything I have read, I don't know if this is true or not. It's just the band covering their ass in the We Don't Talk About Drugs and Drugs Are Bad days. They said that Sweet Leaf was a type of cigarette. I do not know. I cannot confirm this. I will say I still think it's about marijuana like everybody else does, and that is okay because in Canada, it is legal. Totally legal. So in Canada, it is cool for me to discuss this. All right. Now, the other version on the disc 2 is a studio outtake featuring alternative lyrics. Not enough really to care about, to be honest with you. After that, we go into After Forever, including the elegy. After Forever is a really cool song, but it is one of those songs that it's great musically. Absolutely love it. It's fun, it's enjoyable, but it's not a song that I've ever really been drawn to, I don't gravitate towards it. But fantastic song, don't get me wrong, okay? After that, we go into Embryo. Now, Embryo, I have a personal love for. I took the time and effort while I was in guitar class to try and learn how to play Embryo. And I am not a very good guitarist, and when it comes to finger picking on guitar, I'm even worse. My fingers hit too many other strings. I get stubby fingers. Great for the bass, lousy for the guitar. Okay, so Embryo, that love it, love it. Then it goes into the only song I have ever learned how to play on every instrument, and that is Children of the Grave. Now let's be clear, no guitar solos, just I haven't done it in forever. I once upon a time could get through the core of the song on guitar, drums, and bass. Not very well necessarily on all the instruments, but I could do it. And I absolutely love that song. Children of the Grave is quite possibly definitely in my top 5. Black Sabbath, probably in my top 3. But I think my top 3 is a tie technically for number 1 because I couldn't pick a top 1. But for me, you have to have Embryo and Children of the Grave together. You cannot have them as the 2 separate tracks as they put it on here. Now, this is a variation when we get over to the disc 2 with the alternate tracks, because in the alternate tracks, you get Children of the Grave, studio outtakes featuring alternate lyrics. Yeah. And then you get Children of the Grave studio take instrumental. That's pretty cool. Only because I really want to listen to it instrumentally anyways. That's where I gravitate towards. So, fantastic. One of my favorite Sabbath songs, really. And, just that. Yeah, so much passion in there. And once again, lyrically, technically a hippie song. Totally a hippie song. Anti-Vietnam, anti-war song. Truly, if you honestly pay attention to the lyrics. Heavy hippie. Alright, then we get into Orchid. Orchid, much like Embryo, is a great little instrumental piece that is a lead into the next track. That one does have a studio outtake on the other disc. And with Tony Countin, because that's what it specifies. Orchid is not like Embryo for me. It's still a wonderful tune. And it's cool to hear Tony do it live, because he does do it live right before they go kick into Lord of this World. I wish he would do Embryo live, but I'm assuming it's just a lot more complicated to do. Lord of this World, great tune. Now, for me, Lord of this World is kind of like what I was saying earlier about After Forever. Fantastic song. Great song. Doesn't do a whole lot for me, though. It's a good, solid album cut. That's where I will go with that. Then we get, on the flip side of that, the other side is studio outtake featuring piano and slide guitar. I've listened to it. It's not something I ever really go back and re-listen to, honestly. I've listened to it once or twice. It's, nothing special. Then we get into Solitude. And its alternate guitar tuning is the other variation. Now, Solitude is really cool. Solitude is basically, to me, kind of a continuation of Planet Caravan. It's that one really kind of floaty, hippie, trippy kind of song, going along, having a good time, riding that cosmic kind of wave kind of thing, right? Problem is it's a lot like Planet Caravan in that way, so it's not special. If you're looking for that special thing, you know what I mean? And then album finishes with Into the Void, and then the alternate is Into the Void, Spanish Sid alternate version. Into the Void, great song, solid ending. Now, I had mentioned that this is my favorite album. This is my favorite album because most of the songs on this album, there's no skipping it for me. I listen to every track on this album. I've studied this album. I live this album. I breathe this album. I can say the same thing about Paranoid. Paranoid, though, this is a perfect 10. This is not a perfect 10. This is a fan 10. This is a real perfect 10. And it's because This one did it first. This one kind of copied off of it a little bit. Had its own personality. I mean, like Sweet Leaf, like every song has its own special personality. Um, and they're all magnificent. It's just not as tight, not as magnificent as the Paranoid album was. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Those are my views. Give me your thoughts and views. That's what the comment section is for. Otherwise, like button, subscribe button, that helps out both of us. Hit the share button, that helps out too. Patreon link. Forgot to mention that in the Paranoid video. Patreon link below. Otherwise, peace, love, take care.